What is good, Ninja? OJ over here from PlayerEssence, and welcome to the PE, Nintendo Switch, and gaming news video in my village today. We have some awesome information, so let's go ahead and get right into it. But before anything, if you guys have not purchased this game, go out there and do so. Got into a little bit. It is a fantastic Fire Emblem title. Absolutely love it so far. I'll give you guys my full impressions probably by Monday once I get a full weekend of playing it and when I have time. But getting into the news here. Azure Striker Gunvolt, baby. Yes, Azure Striker Gunvolt, the Striker Pack, is coming to the Nintendo Switch. We have a lot of new information. The big one is Azure Striker Gunvolt, the Striker Pack, which includes Azure Striker Gunvolt 1 and then also Azure Striker Gunvolt 2. Both of those games being fantastic games in their own right on the Nintendo 3DS, now being brought over to the Nintendo Switch. So let's go ahead and get into some of the information here. So the gameplay has been upgraded on the Nintendo Switch version from 30 frames per second to 60 frames per second. And here's what they had to say on the matter. Since the 3DS game was created with the emphasis on visual aspect of the game, it was only able to run 30 frames per second, but with the Nintendo Switch, they can now run it at 60 frames per second, which is going to make all the difference in this type of game, platformer slash action game on the smaller screen. You definitely want 60 frames per second, and they're able to achieve that on the Nintendo Switch. You're going to get the entire DLC catalog from the 3DS version, which comes preloaded on there, so no problems there. You're going to have HD rumble support, so when Gunvolt uses his powerful electrical attacks, the Nintendo Switch's HD rumble kicks in to bring you even closer to the action. The screen layout has been completely redone, so the screen layout has been redone from the 2-screen layout of the Nintendo 3DS to an intuitive 1-screen layout on the Nintendo Switch, which I really do appreciate, and a brand new song for the Nintendo Switch version as well. So a brand new theme song by the virtual idol Lumen will debut on the Nintendo Switch version of the game. There's high-resolution event graphics and in-game text, and there's also adjustments to game balance and general gameplay improvements. So the Kudos system from Gunvolt 1 has been changed to the system from Gunvolt 2. Adjustments have been made to some stages to balance out the difficulty, and other minor gameplay improvements have been added. There's numerous language settings from English, Spanish, French, German, Italian, Portuguese, and Japanese. And a big one, of course, here, Nintendo Switch Pro Controller compatibility from day one. The gameplay feels especially satisfying on the Nintendo Switch Pro Controller, so I love to hear that because this controller is just so nice. It's just such a nice controller, and I love using it, so it's really good that they're having that in there. What do you guys think about this? I am super excited, and if you go back to my video where I talked about Azure Striker Gunvolt 1 and Azure Striker Gunvolt 2, and Gunvolt 2 not selling as well as it should have when they announced, I think, like Mighty Burst Gunvolt or whatever the case is, Mighty Gunvolt Burst, I was like, hey man, like, it probably didn't do as well because it came out at the end of 2016 and people were really anticipating there being a Nintendo Switch version of this game, and that never came at that point. So I think people were waiting, because why buy a game on there when you can probably get it on Nintendo Switch? You can play it on the home screen in addition to playing it on the go. It's just better. It would just be better. Any type of indie game is always better on the Nintendo Switch than any other type of hardware. And I had a feeling they would do this, especially because of the teasing they were doing with NT Creates as far as what they were working on and how they had 2 Nintendo Switch games. This one's coming out this August, and it's also going to be a worldwide release as well. So it's going to be Japan and North America, US, Europe, all at the same time this August. I think August 31st. The price is not determined, but I think it'll be probably 20 bucks. That's what I'm thinking. It'll be $20, if not $29.99 at the most, but I'm thinking it's going to be a $20 game. So really awesome. What do you guys think about this news? Let me know in the comment section below. Now moving on to the next article here, Disgaea 5 complete on the Nintendo Switch. It has an 87 average on Metacritic at this point with 16 critics so far, so highly rated. That is 7 points above the PS4 version of the game, and that has like 40 something critics, so there's still quite a little bit of ways to go. I definitely think this isn't high up on a lot of people's priority board in terms of getting a review score out there, and it doesn't launch until May 23rd, I think, in North America. It already launched today in Europe. It deserves every bit of that 87 it's getting, and I think one of the big reasons why it's getting such high scores is content. This game packs in all of the DLC. There's a lot of stuff, and it's just a simple, fun, but really in-depth game to play. It's very easy. It's a strategy RPG, right? You just take a character and move it around. Now, the menus can get pretty confusing as far as what each thing means, and sometimes they don't explain it as great as they could, but as far as just picking it up and playing it, you can definitely do so, and you can attack, and it's fun. It's a fun strategy RPG. Not quite as good as Fire Emblem, but I do feel that it's really good, and it's definitely a game that if you are an RPG fan or a strategy RPG fan, and you have a Nintendo Switch, Disgaea 5 Complete is probably the best version that you can buy because you can take it anywhere you want. It does have all of that DLC, and you can play it, of course, in both ways. You can play it multiple different ways. Has Pro Controller support, has all the trophies from the PS4 version of the game that pop up just like a trophy, but it isn't a trophy. It even looks like a little trophy thing on there. If you want to see more on Disgaea 5 or you want to just find out what the game is about, I did a 12-minute gameplay video on it right on this channel, so please check that out. There will be a link in the description below. I think it's a great game, so make sure you check that out when you guys get a chance. Alright, and moving on to the last topic here. So the Rainway app developer shares prototype footage of the Rainway app and talks Nintendo Switch plans, requirements, and much more. Now, he did a huge AMA on Reddit, which is at Ask Me Anything, and there was multiple questions coming in from all over the place. So obviously he didn't answer every single one, but I think he answered all the pertinent questions. He got down to the nitty-gritty when it comes to his chances of this actually happening. And for those who don't know, the Rainway app is an app, a client really, that lets you stream PC games from your PC, so your Steam library, all that, to your Nintendo Switch. Here is a breakdown, and then I'll go into some of the stuff that I thought was particularly interesting as far as what he said. So everything is on track for a Nintendo Switch release, and he said that the internet connection is a consistent requirement to have on there. It's easy to make per game button configurations. Plan to expand Rainway past just game streaming. Will require your PC to be logged in. Local input lag is between 2 to 3 ms frames. Remote rumble is currently supported. Now, he also said more if you go over to the AMA, and his name is Andrew Sampson, and he's the co-creator of the Rainway app and the FOSS enthusiast. So he said, ask me anything, and people were asking. And one of the big questions says, what are the chances of this app getting approved for the Nintendo Switch at this point? And he says they're pretty high. So that's the one thing that he said. He won't go into too much detail as far as what he talked about with Nintendo, but he's pretty confident that this app is definitely going to happen. So here was another question that I thought was very interesting, and the response was even more interesting, and I think that definitely this could have an impact when it comes to other third-party developers and what they put on the Nintendo Switch. So Blooper Bro asks, do you believe it would be beneficial to release Rainway on the Nintendo Switch specifically? And here's what he had to say. The Nintendo Switch is a unique console. It was designed with portability in mind, and because Rainway aims to make PC games portable, I feel that they can have a strong relationship. That being said, a lot of people say Rainway would discourage ports to the Nintendo Switch, which I find a bit silly. Streaming isn't or can't be for everyone, and developers are going to port their games regardless of our app. In fact, from our conversations with other developers, they'd be more likely to port their game to a specific platform if a lot of our users played their games via Rainway on it. And that was very interesting that he did say that, because that's the one thing that you hear. You say, well, Nintendo fans aren't willing to buy these type of games, even though it's not true at all. They just buy them on different platforms because they don't come to Nintendo Wii U, they don't come to Nintendo platforms, or they're gimped in one way or another. Now, obviously that's not the example with everything, but that has happened quite a bit. And he's saying that they're going to have data. They're going to be pulling data. What games are people playing? What do people like on this client? What do people not like? What are people doing on this? And that data is probably going to be shared with third-party developers in order to see if they're going to bring their game over or not. If there is some type of market, are they liking this style? So there's a lot of different things that this Rainway app can do. Now, based on everything that he's been saying here, it definitely seems like this thing is happening. I was super skeptical on it. I was like, there's no way they're going to allow this. But Microsoft apparently has already approved this according to him, and they're in discussions with Sony. It seems like Nintendo would be next. Now, here's the thing that I talked about on my live stream, and I'll say it again here. Nintendo probably wants this, and I'll tell you the reason why Nintendo might want this. They might want this because they know good and well that they're not going to be able to get every single third-party game out there. But if there is a way, so let's say you do have a PC and say, hey, it doesn't come to Nintendo Switch, you still have that Rainway app, you can play it on your Nintendo Switch. You can take advantage of the unique properties of the Nintendo Switch over the PS4 and Xbox One, being able to play PC games anywhere. So it'd be kind of like remote play on the PS Vita, but probably better than remote play because you have your whole Steam library. You have all of that to pick from, and you can get those third-party games, of course not in a direct way, but in an indirect way on the Nintendo Switch. And then maybe other third-party developers say, okay, they are playing these games, we're going to put our games on there, and that's what he's saying with that one there. So I thought that was a very interesting response, and I definitely agree with him when he said that. Now, we do need to wait. Obviously, this is still not 100% confirmed, but he is pretty sure that this is going to happen. There's even still more people that are doubting him, and he was verified through Reddit. He wasn't verified at one point, but then they got him verified. Spawnwave actually asked him a question too, and here's what Spawnwave had to say on the matter. He said, I may have missed this in your prior reports, but will Rainway only be local network streaming, or will it also stream over the internet to distant locations, such as my computer being at home and being able to stream my Switch at work with me? Thanks. And he says it will work on both local networks and over the internet. What do you guys think about this? Are you more believers now at this point? I have a link to the whole chat, like everything that he said there, the whole AMA. You can see everything that he had to say, and I think this is going to happen. I think this has pushed me over and say this is going to happen, and if it does, this is going to be very big for Nintendo. We'll see what happens. I'm not like 100% on board, but I'm pretty much on that side. So overall, we still need to wait for the final word from Nintendo, but it looks like it's happening, guys. All right, Ninja, thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you check out the links in the description below. Follow us on Twitter. Make sure you hit us up on Facebook. We got a lot of different social media. Also, make sure you check out our Patreon page, which we will be giving away Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Guardian Amiibo. Pledge any tier. You can get entered in to win that, which will be raffling off at the end of the month. Plus, we have prize tournaments and much more. So please make sure you check that out when you get a chance. All right, Ninja, that wraps up this video here. Go ahead and hit that like button if you did like it. Let me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to PlayerEssence for the latest news, reviews, discussions, and more. Thank you so much for watching. I will catch you, Ninja, for the next video. Peace.